Davos 2025, drama, debates, and dilemmas. Tomorrow is the last day of Davos 2025. That's right, folks. The annual meeting where the world's most powerful people gather in a Swiss mountain town to discuss the state of the world, or as Gerald likes to call it, the world's fanciest corporate retreat with a side of skiing. So what's Davos? Why is it held in this remote, snowy paradise? Why should you care about it? And yes, do they secretly want to control you? Let's dive into it. First, what is Davos? Officially, it's the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum, or WEF for short. Think of it as a mega mashup of CEOs, presidents, billionaires, and academics who come together to brainstorm solutions for global problems. Unofficially, it's like if the Avengers teamed up, but instead of saving the world, they debated tax policies while eating caviar. The WEF was founded in 1971 by Klaus Schwab, a guy so optimistic about the future that he made shaping the world his full-time job. Now, why is Davos held in Davos? Honestly, it's like asking why weddings are held in castles. It's exclusive, it's scenic, and it screams, "We're important." Davos, Switzerland, is tucked away in the Alps, making it the perfect spot for secrecy, security, and of course, skiing. Fun fact, the attendees probably spend more time on the slopes than in meetings, which explains why so many solutions from Davos slide downhill just as fast. But why should you care about Davos? Well, that depends. On one hand, the decisions made here could shape the future of AI, climate policies, and even your grocery bill. On the other hand, it's a bit like watching your landlord debate how to make housing more affordable while raising your rent. There's always that lingering question. Are these folks trying to make the world better or just better for themselves? And yes, let's address the elephant in the Alps. Do they want to control you? Not in a spy on you through your toaster way. Or do they? Many critics argue that the WEF's agenda, like Klaus Schwab's infamous Great Reset, sounds a lot like a corporate dystopia. You'll own nothing and be happy, they say. Gerald disagrees. He owns his bowl, thank you very much. Now let's talk controversy, because oh boy, Davos 2025 delivered. First up, climate change versus private jets. Climate change is a major topic at Davos, with discussions on achieving net zero emissions and advancing renewable energy. However, hundreds of private jets flew into Davos for the event, symbolizing the very emissions-heavy behavior that they claim to combat. Critics argue this highlights a disconnect between rhetoric and action, as elites appear unwilling to make personal sacrifices for the climate. Next, inequality versus wealth concentration. Davos leaders talk a big game about reducing global inequality and empowering underserved populations, but the event itself is an exclusive gathering of the wealthiest and most powerful. An Oxfam report from 2024 revealed that billionaires have become exponentially wealthier in recent years, yet little tangible action has been proposed to address tax havens or enforce progressive taxation. Gerald's take? It's like inviting the wolf to design the sheep's pen. How about AI for public good versus corporate domination? AI is being hailed as a tool for improving healthcare, education, and global equity. But here's the catch. Much of the innovation in AI is driven by a handful of corporations that control its development. This could centralize power and profits, while the public bears risks like job loss and misinformation. Critics question whether these discussions genuinely aim to make AI beneficial for humanity, or are just expanding corporate monopolies. Gerald wonders if fish will soon be replaced by robo-fish. Then there's advocacy for peace versus geopolitical agendas. Leaders stress the importance of peace, particularly regarding the Ukraine-Russia conflict, but discussions also focused on military alliances and policies that escalate tensions. NATO's push for Ukraine's membership, for example, may be seen as prolonging conflict rather than fostering immediate resolution. It's like trying to put out a fire by throwing gasoline on it. And let's not forget sustainability versus economic growth models. While sustainability is a key theme, many discussions at Davos center on promoting economic growth tied to industries that are inherently unsustainable. Fossil fuels and luxury goods, disproportionately represented at Davos, contribute significantly to environmental degradation. Gerald's advice? Maybe start by turning off the private jets. Inclusivity versus exclusivity is another big one. Davos claims to champion inclusivity and diversity, but it's an invite-only event where participation is limited to those who can afford the steep costs. Grassroots movements, activists, and representatives from underserved regions are often underrepresented or excluded entirely. Gerald's comment? Inclusivity, as long as you can pay the entry fee. Finally, action versus talk. Davos is often described as more about talking than doing. Despite ambitious goals being announced each year, implementation often lags or benefits corporate interests over societal good. AI ethics were a central theme in Davos 2024, but little tangible progress has been made since to regulate AI or protect workers from its negative impacts. Gerald says, less talk, more swim. Let's move on to the spicy news at Davos. Let's expand on Milei's anti-woke crusade. Javier Milei, Argentina's fiery new president, set the stage ablaze with his rhetoric. He called woke ideology a mental virus, blaming it for dismantling the foundational principles of Western civilization. He argued that social movements such as radical feminism and extreme environmentalism have morphed into tools for authoritarian control, where governments and NGOs push agendas that strip away individual freedoms. Now let's break down the Russia-Ukraine debate. The forum hosted heated discussions on whether Russia's economy is adapting or collapsing under wartime pressures and sanctions. Some experts painted a picture of resilience, citing Russia's adaptation to a wartime economy, while others highlighted hidden cracks, soaring inflation, a shrinking labor force, and crumbling industrial output. NATO representatives called for more military support for Ukraine, emphasizing that Europe must step up to ensure Ukraine's victory. However, critics argue that escalating military involvement risks prolonging the conflict instead of fostering peace. Meanwhile, discussions on rebuilding Ukraine post-conflict revealed both hope and tension. Who gets to shape Ukraine's future? That remains the million-dollar, or perhaps billion-dollar question. Finally, Klaus Schwab's AI utopia. Schwab envisions a transition to an intelligent era where AI drives solutions to humanity's biggest challenges. He paints a picture of constructive optimism, but skeptics at the forum weren't convinced. Concerns over misinformation, job displacement, and corporate monopolies loomed large. Schwab's vision includes AI-powered healthcare, education, and sustainability initiatives. But many worry about who will control these technologies. If AI is the future, does that future belong to humanity or the few corporations and governments pulling the strings? Gerald wonders if there's an AI version of him swimming in a digital fishbowl somewhere. In summary, Davos is where the world's elite come to debate, network, and ski, all while the rest of us watch from afar, wondering if they're saving the planet or just saving face. Whether it's Milei's anti-woke crusade, the Russia-Ukraine debate, or Klaus Schwab's AI utopia, one thing's clear: Davos is never short on drama. So, if you want more chaos, more capital, and more Gerald, hit that subscribe button. Gerald's got bubbles to blow, and we've got more fishy stories to share. See you tomorrow, and don't forget, the world's a big pond, and we're just swimming in it.